Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Soul Land 2 Peerless Tang Men based on novel. So let's start. Although the message wasn't very clear, Shu Qianran could clearly sense the rage in it. Evidently, things were getting unstable at the front line. This was something that he really didn't want to see. Projection. Yes. A black figure silently appeared behind Shu Qianran. Even though the lighting was very bright, he still appeared illusory. His appearance wasn't clear. Gather more information on the Holy Ghost Church. This is a secret mission. Do not be discovered. Ask the Legion commander of the Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineer Legion to find me. Yes, Your Majesty. The black figure silently retreated before disappearing into a dark corner. A light flashed in Shu Qianran's hand. The paper that had recorded the message was instantly crushed before it disappeared. He had already made a decision by now. His rage dissipated a little. Holy Ghost Church, what a Holy Ghost Church. Since you've already become a disobedient dog, don't blame me for being vicious. The only reason why Shu Qianran hesitated a little was because of the two ultimate Douluo. However, he had done detailed background research on Long Xiaoyao and Yi Shishui. Their ages were already a problem, not to even mention anything else. Those from the same generation as them were all already dead. They were considered the oldest among humans. They were both more than 200 years old. They might die at any time. Ultimate Douluo weren't immortals, unless they could reach their way into a higher realm. Whether the godly realm existed was a big question. However, from their current condition, it seemed unlikely that they were going to the godly realm. Juzi, if things are fine on your side, you just need to wait a few more years until those two are dead. It won't be a problem to attack the Holy Ghost Church then. Shrek City. Sanxia, why are you back? Bei Bei was astonished when he saw Shu Sanxia. Shouldn't you be at Douluo City? Our Tang Sect Soul Engineer Legion has already been sent over. Why are you back? Why are all of you back? Bei Bei was astonished as he looked at all his teammates. Shu Sanxia chuckled and said, "Who's willing to remain at that place? I'm about to go crazy. Bei Bei, listen to me and you'll understand." He recounted how Huo Yuhao and the rest had managed to enter Douluo City, and explained how he had managed to stabilize it. He also mentioned how he was a prince, as well as the various obstacles they had faced there. After hearing his recount, Bei Bei's expression immediately turned gloomy. The internal problems in Douluo City had prevented Shu Sanxia from strutting his stuff. They were still experiencing internal chaos at such a time. Bei Bei only looked slightly more relieved when Shu Sanxia mentioned that Huo Yuhao and Tang Wutong had saved them at the most critical of times. You are really useless too. All of you can't even deal with 5 title Douluo. Sanxia, it's not a bad idea for you to return either. Go and cultivate. Don't come out until you've become a title Douluo. Bei Bei snapped. Shu Sanxia snorted and replied, "Do you think it's very easy to become a title Douluo? Surely not. Don't tell me you're." Bei Bei chuckled, and was a little pleased as he said, "I'm feeling great. For some reason, my cultivation speed has increased significantly ever since Xiao Ya was treated. It has improved by leaps and bounds. Xiao Ya has also made a breakthrough. She just went to the Spirit Pagoda a few days ago, and fused with the Blue-Silver Emperor. Now, we have 2 more title Douluo in the Tang sect. That's why all of you must work harder." Alright, if Little Junior and Wutong appeared at the same time, does that mean Wutong is completely well? Shu Sanxia was depressed as he looked at Bei Bei. Their cultivations had been similar all this while. Now that Bei Bei had become a title Douluo, he was really dealt a huge blow. Yes, Wutong is not only well, but she has even made a breakthrough with Little Junior. From Little Junior's words, it seems like they are both transcendent Douluo. You are only a title Douluo. What's there to flaunt? Nan, let's go and make breakthroughs too. This time, I won't come out until I become a titled Douluo. Wait a minute. Bei pulled Shusansha to one side and asked him about everything that had happened in Douluo City in detail once again. After he verified that the Tang Sect Soul Engineer Legion had arrived and Xuan was there to help, he let Shusansha go. However, he didn't allow him to cultivate as of yet. He pulled him to Shrek Academy first. It was important to let the Academy know what was happening in the Douluo Empire. Things in Shrek City were much more relaxed after the Sun Moon Empire left. The elites from the Star Luo and Douluo empires also retreated. Shrek City had already regained its peace. Of course, this was all on the surface. No one knew when the Sun Moon Empire's army would appear once again. They also didn't know who their next target was. Given the situation in the continent, none of them could really relax their guard. Ha ha. Soft laughter sounded. Juzi covered her small mouth and couldn't help but laugh again. There were two people in front of her. They were completely covered by fiery-red human-shaped soul tools. Only their helmets were off, revealing their facial appearance. One was the captivating and awe-inspiring Tang Wutong. Her long pinkish-blue hair and fiery-red human-shaped soul tool were in contrast. This made her seem even more ravishing. The other person was more interesting. Huo Yuhao was the other person in the human-shaped soul tool. He hadn't put on makeup yet. However, the human-shaped soul tools of the Fire Phoenix Soul Engineer Legion were designed according to the figure of a female. Although this human-shaped soul tool that Juzi had obtained for Huo Yuhao had once belonged to a female soul engineer with a rather big build, there was still a big difference between a female and male figure. For example, the chest armor was poking out slightly and was fiery red. When Huo Yuhao wore it, it did seem slightly weird. Even Tang Wutong couldn't help but laugh softly. What's so funny? I can just not wear it, can I? I can just use my imitation to produce one. Huo Yuhao snapped and was about to strip off the human-shaped soul tool. Don't. Didn't you mention that extremely strong individuals will be able to realize if you change your figure or conceal yourself? Furthermore, I don't know what new soul tools there are in Radiant City. So, it's better for you to wear it. We won't laugh at you anymore. Once you put on the helmet, who would know you are inside? However, it's really too much. Huo Yuhao said, furious. Ha ha. Tang Wutong couldn't hold it in anymore. She burst out laughing. How ridiculous was it for a guy to wear a female human-shaped soul tool? Even if he wore the helmet, they still knew that he was the one inside. Huo Yuhao glared at Tang Wutong, as if he was telling her that he would deal with her when they returned. Juzi rushed a few steps forward, as she was afraid that he would go back on his word. She personally helped him wear his helmet, covering his appearance. It was much better after she covered his face. Tang Wutong smiled as she said, "What an awe-inspiring female warrior. You look pretty good just like this." As she spoke, she also wore her helmet. This human-shaped soul tool had no effect on Tang Wutong. All the human-shaped soul tools of the Fire Phoenix Soul Engineer Legion were enhanced by fire, and were equipped with all types of fire-type soul tools. Although Tang Wutong didn't possess fire-type soul power, her light-type soul power could still demonstrate some fire-type characteristics. This was why she could use this soul tool too. Although it didn't enhance her a lot, it didn't weaken her. Huo Yuhao was more tragic. Not only did this human-shaped soul tool not fit him, but it also contradicted his ultimate ice soul power, even though he could control it using his spiritual power. He would not feel comfortable in it at all. He only felt better by changing to his spirit eyes. However, there was nothing in it to help his agility. Okay, let's do it like this. Both of you will follow me at all times, as if you are my bodyguards. You can trust all my bodyguards. No one will suspect you if you don't say anything. Juzi said seriously to Huo Yuhao and Tang Wutong. Of course, she still couldn't hide the amusement in her eyes. Huo Yuhao decided not to speak anymore. Juzi walked in front of Huo Yuhao and smiled. Do you think I'm acting against my own interests? We are clearly enemies, but we're teaming up. The army moved very quickly. When equipped with all types of soul tools, they were proceeding faster than other armies from the three empires of the original Douluo continent. Some of the carriages were propelled using milk bottles, and they could even carry quite a lot of soldiers. After a few days of observation, Huo Yuhao gained a deeper understanding of the Sun Moon Empire's advantage in terms of soul tool technology. Just like he had expected, more and more of the Sun Moon Empire's soul tool technology was being used on ordinary people now. Even though milk bottles were expensive and could only be operated through the soul power of soul masters, it was no longer a dream for ordinary people to become soul masters in the future, given that there was such a beginning already. This was the Sun Moon Empire's real advantage. No wonder Zhu Zi dared to promise not to attack the Star Luo and Doling empires in the next 10 years after he killed Shu Qianran. She was confident. The two empires wouldn't catch up in terms of soul tool technology within 10 years. They couldn't even gather enough resources. Whether it was the mining and purification of rare metals or soul tool production, the Sun Moon Empire had too much of an advantage. Although Shrek Academy was doing its best to catch up, it was impossible for an academy to challenge the likes of an entire empire. The army was now getting a lot closer to the Sun Moon Empire's border. However, their morale was extremely low. None of the commanders were in a good mood, and such things were extremely infectious. Hence, even the soldiers below them were feeling it. Even though the army had secured multiple victories on this campaign, they were feeling very displeased after problems had emerged internally within the army. This was a common sentiment shared by the soul engineers and the commanders. One could only imagine how furious they must have felt to encounter these things, when a golden opportunity for them to leave their names in the history books had shown itself. They couldn't wait to skin the entire Holy Ghost Church alive. Zhu Zi was naturally a lot more composed than the rest. She was sitting in her carriage, but she would occasionally lift the curtains to glimpse at what was outside. Her eyes would naturally drift to where Huo Yuhao, who was wearing a female outfit, was. Even though her face would not give off any hint of emotion, Huo Yuhao would still be able to tell from her eyes that she was laughing deep down inside. This was the first time that Huo Yuhao was being punished in this manner. In fact, Zhu Zi was not only the one laughing at Huo Yuhao. Tang Wutong would also burst into laughter periodically, even though she had already been warned many times by the soul engineer, who was in charge of military discipline. Hence, while Huo Yuhao was very frustrated by the punishment he had received, Zhu Zi was actually very happy about it. Even though Huo Yuhao had recently caused her a lot of trouble, and had enraged her multiple times, the displeasure in her heart was gradually being melted by his mere presence beside her. In fact, she wished that this road they were traveling on would never end. At the very least, this would mean that he would be able to stay by her side. She felt good just seeing him every day. Zhu Zi wondered why she didn't feel the same way when they were back in the Sun Moon Imperial Soul Engineering Academy. The speed at which the army was moving definitely could not be compared to that of a Soul Engineer Legion. Even then, the Sun Moon Empire's troops were able to fast march at a quicker pace than the other empire's troops. Within 5 days, the border between the Sun Moon Empire and what was originally the Heavenly Soul Empire was now within sight. Zhu Zi chose to reorganize her troops at an area close to the border of the Heavenly Soul Empire. After getting her troops to set up camp at that area, she gave out an order to the surrounding cities to resupply the army with rations and other supplies. The army was to rest up at that area while they waited for her next orders. In the meantime, she brought the Fire Phoenix Soul Engineer Legion, as well as the remaining Soul Engineers from the Evil Eye Tyrant Soul Engineer Legion, and the Imperial Dragon Soul Engineer Legion, with her back to Radiant City. The Class 9 Soul Engineers from the Imperial Consecration Hall also followed her back to the capital of the Sun Moon Empire. Now that she had planned to confront the Holy Ghost Church, Zhu Zi would definitely bring along all the manpower she had. Even though 2 of the 3 Beast Lord rank Soul Engineer Legions were no longer what they used to be, she still effectively had 2 Soul Engineer Legions when all their manpower was combined. At the same time, she had quite a few Class 9 Soul Engineers with her. They would definitely be able to protect themselves even if they were to bump into an ultimate Douluo like Yishishure. Huo Yuhao and Tang Wutong were flying not too far away from Juzi. After all, they were supposed to be her personal guards. Right now, Huo Yuhao was definitely feeling uncomfortable in the human-shaped soul tool, which did not fit very well with his body. Even though he knew it was mainly psychological rather than physical discomfort, he still could not help but feel frustrated with his outfit. He was constantly trying to release his ultimate ice aura to counter the fire-type elemental fluctuations, which were coming from the human-shaped soul tool. Xiao Yu, can you come over here? Juzi, who was flying in the air, suddenly turned around and waved at Huo Yuhao. Xiao Yu was the name she had given him. Every soul engineer from the Fire Phoenix Soul Engineer Legion knew that their marshal liked Xiao Yu a lot. The selection criteria for the soul engineers within the Soul Engineer Legions were very strict. This was especially true for the marshal's personal guards. Because Juzi was the one who was supposed to handpick her personal guards, no one knew Xiao Yu's background. In fact, they did not even know what she looked like, as she was always wearing her human-shaped soul tool. Huo Yuhao flew towards Juzi unwillingly before transmitting a message. What's the matter with you? Juzi lifted her visor as she moved closer to Huo Yuhao before flashing him a mesmerizing smile. I'm hungry. I need you to prepare a meal for me. I heard your family has passed down a recipe for delicious grilled fish. No, I won't. Huo Yuhao replied coldly. This was not the first time that Juzi had tried to make his life difficult. Ever since he had become her personal guard, she had made all sorts of difficult requests. Of course, Huo Yuhao knew that she was only doing these to get closer to him. However, this was precisely why he was very wary of her. In fact, Huo Yuhao was very against giving in to her demands. Suddenly, Huo Yuhao heard Tang Wutong's voice in his ears. Go ahead and grill the fish for her. Huo Yuhao was startled, and turned around to look at Tang Wutong. Tang Wutong was still flying in a very relaxed manner. It did not seem like she was angry at all. When did she become so magnanimous? Is she still the Tang Wutong I know? Huo Yuhao was a bit doubtful about her words. It's really fine. I really don't mind. However, you must tell her that I want a share of the grilled fish. I really miss the grilled fish you used to make. Tang Wutong revealed her true intentions. It seems like this girl is also craving some food. Compared to his attitude towards Juzi, Huo Yuhao was very willing to prepare grilled fish for Tang Wutong. As long as that was what she wanted, Huo Yuhao would definitely do his best to satisfy her wants. Juzi frowned and replied, if you can't even fulfill such a small request, how do you expect me to cooperate with you? This was not the first time she had used this to threaten him. However, it was undeniable that it was fairly effective. Of course, Huo Yuhao had also given clear rejections if the request was too much. Hence, Juzi did not have high hopes that he would agree to her every single request. However, much to her surprise, Huo Yuhao actually nodded after hesitating for a short while. All right. But Wutong and I must get a share of the fish too. He purposely added himself into the picture, just so that Juzi would not reject his condition outright. Sure. Juzi replied without any hesitation. Huo Yuhao could tell that she was over the moon from the look in her eyes. Is this really necessary, just to eat a few grilled fish? Is she still the invincible war god empress I know? An hour later, Juzi ordered the group to settle down by a huge river. Catching fish was a piece of cake for soul engineers. Very soon, several fresh fish were presented in front of Juzi. The generals and soul engineers had all settled down at a place which was fairly far from where she was. After all, it was best if both genders could stay in different rest areas. Hence, Juzi would not have to share the food Huo Yuhao was about to prepare. Because Huo Yuhao was wearing the human-shaped soul tool, he could only use the exposed part of his hands to prepare the fish. He was able to clean the fish and remove their scales in a short amount of time. Huo Yuhao was already very familiar with the grilling process. He was able to set up a rack in no time. Very soon, the two ladies could smell the scent of grilled fish. Juzi naturally took the first fish. After taking her first bite, she could not help but look up to compliment Huo Yuhao. Her eyes widened in disbelief, as he nodded furiously to express her satisfaction with Huo Yuhao's grilled fish. The second fish was offered to Tang Wutong. She simply sat by the side and enjoyed the fish Huo Yuhao had grilled for her. It was common knowledge that women tend to have a greater appetite than men when it came to good food. Both ladies devoured Huo Yuhao's grilled fish like nobody's business. Perhaps it was because of her greater fighting power, but Tang Wutong seemed to have a greater appetite than Juzi. While Tang Wutong was still grabbing the next grilled fish, Juzi was already full. During this time, Huo Yuhao had also eaten a few grilled fish. However, he really did not have to eat much at his current cultivation. Even if he were to go without eating anything for a few days, he would still be perfectly fine. Juzi leaned on a huge tree behind her as she glanced at Tang Wutong, who was sitting not too far away from her. "Are you not jealous that he is making grilled fish for me to eat?" Tang Wutong shook her head as she continued to eat her grilled fish happily. Huo Yuhao walked towards her before wiping the oil at the corner of her mouth with a clean handkerchief. Tang Wutong looked up and flashed a blissful smile at him. Even though Juzi was not able to see Huo Yuhao's expression, because of the visor on his face, she could still imagine the loving look in his eyes. She couldn't help but remark jealously, "I can't believe you're not jealous at all. I think you don't know how to cherish your man. If Huo Yuhao were my man instead, I would definitely not allow him to prepare food for another woman." Tang Wutong shook her head and smiled at Juzi. "This is really nothing. Besides, the stuff he gives me is always different from what he gives others." "Different? How is it different?" As one would have expected of Juzi, she had been paying close attention to the way Huo Yuhao had been grilling the fish. She made sure that he had followed the exact same procedure for both their fish. Hence, she did not believe what Tang Wutong had just said. Tang Wutong extended the grilled fish in her hands to Juzi and said, "Since you like him so much, why don't you try the fish he gave me?" As she spoke, she retraced her arm and peeled off a chunk of fish for Juzi. Tang Wutong had decided not to be so magnanimous. Juzi took the piece of fish from Tang Wutong suspiciously. Her rationality told her that she should not be eating the leftovers of a commoner as the powerful war god empress. However, the curiosity and affection within her ultimately won her over as she stuffed the piece into her mouth. It took Juzi only a few bites for her to be stunned by the flavor. She sat still as she stared blankly at the space before her. The flavor in her mouth was simply out of this world. The fish meat was tender and juicy. It seemed to possess some sort of special energy. Even though its flavor was more or less similar to that of the meat she ate earlier, this special energy was what made the meat so special. It was almost as if the entire grilled fish had been enhanced. In the meantime, Tang Wutong continued to eat her grilled fish. She still had the same blissful look on her face as she savored every bite. Juzi was stunned for a good long while before she finally swallowed the fish in her mouth. At that instant, she felt an immense satisfaction overwhelm her entire body. She felt as though she was being brought into a warm and loving embrace. What did you add to her grilled fish?" Juzi turned her head and asked Huo Yuhao. Huo Yuhao spoke plainly, "You've been watching me while I was grilling the fish. You should know well enough that I did not vary my procedure because of Tang Wutong or you. However, why is the flavor different? In fact, it tastes so much better. I don't care. I want that kind of fish too." Juzi spoke viciously. Huo Yuhao shook his head and said, "I am sorry, but I don't think I can do it." "Why can't you do it?" "I don't care. I want it too." Juzi was practically shouting at Huo Yuhao. In fact, she was so loud that some of the soul engineers from the Fire Phoenix Soul Engineer Legion, who were guarding the area, turned around to make sure that their marshal was okay. Juzi waved her hand and told them that she was fine. She tried to slow her breathing as she looked at both Huo Yuhao and Tang Wutong. Why are you not able to do it for me?" By now, her voice had softened. Huo Yuhao let out a gentle sigh before shaking his head. He did not go on to explain why as he looked away. Tang Wutong stood up and finished the grilled fish in her hand before explaining to Juzi, the emotions were different. You need to stop making things difficult for him. He didn't do it on purpose. He simply had different emotions when he was grilling the fish for us. Hence, the flavor will still be different, even though they were grilled in the same way. That's why I was never overly concerned that he was grilling fish for you. Unless I'm willing to share my grilled fish for you, you will never be able to taste the flavor of love. Tang Wutong walked towards Huo Yuhao before she leaned into his body. The grilled fish was very delicious. I love you. Huo Yuhao was startled by her short, simple sentences. It was the first time that Tang Wutong had expressed her love towards Huo Yuhao in front of someone else. This was a pleasant surprise for him. Even though he knew that Tang Wutong was trying to piss Juzi off, he was certain that she meant every single word she had said to him. I love you too, Huo Yuhao said. His heart had already melted after hearing what she had just said. Tears started to stream down Juzi's face in an uncontrollable fashion, as she watched them hug before her. She finally understood why Tang Wutong was willing to allow him to grill fish for her. She was neither trying to be kind, nor was she hungry. She had simply wanted to show her that she didn't stand a chance at wresting Huo Yuhao from her. She finally understood it was not that Tang Wutong was not jealous of her. In fact, Tang Wutong had always been jealous of her. She was trying to put her down in the strongest possible way. Even though Juzi knew that she needed to be strong in moments like this, she still couldn't help but cry. So what if I manage to conquer the entire continent? I have still lost to her. As long as he leaves his heart with her, I will never stand a chance. Her tears blurred her vision. Juzi turned around and wiped away the tears on her face. She covered her face with her visor before walking to the side silently. She started to walk away from them as she remained silent. Did I go overboard? Tang Wutong snuggled against Huo Yuhao and asked. Huo Yuhao shook his head and said, It's good that you're trying to get her to give up on me. There's already no chance that we can get together. Besides, I don't want her to hold any more feelings for me. What you've done is correct. But I have to admit that Juzi is quite pitiful. You can tell that there is still kindness in her heart. She did not kill needlessly while she was conquering those cities. If not, I would have killed her despite our past relationship. Past relationship. Tang Wutong looked up immediately. She was alerted by Huo Yuhao's usage of such words. Huo Yuhao lifted his visor before he planted a kiss on her red lips. It just so happened that Juzi had turned around at this very instant after reaching the riverbank. After seeing them kiss, she could not help but fly into a rage. She dashed towards Huo Yuhao and Tang Wutong in a furious and mad manner. Huo Yuhao was naturally able to sense her movement. After all, his powerful cultivation meant that he was able to sense most of the movement in his surroundings. He let go of Tang Wutong before turning around to look at Juzi. Following which, he released a gentle stream of soul power which formed a barrier that blocked Juzi from getting near them. Juzi glared at Huo Yuhao with blood-red eyes and shouted, Huo Yuhao, do you know how much I... At that instant, the golden trident on Tang Wutong's forehead suddenly appeared before it emitted a golden ray of light that landed on Juzi's body. Juzi trembled vigorously as she stumbled backward. It was almost as if she had discovered something extremely frightening. Her eyes widened in fear as she ended her sentence there and then. Wutong, what did you just do? Huo Yuhao was startled as he turned around to look at her. Based on his understanding of her, Huo Yuhao knew that she would never harm Juzi even if she was jealous of her. Huh? I also have no idea what just happened. Tang Wutong was equally worried as she quickly stepped forward to support Juzi. Juzi, are you all right? I really don't know what just happened. Huo Yuhao believed that Tang Wutong would never lie to him. Besides, her tone and emotional fluctuations did not seem to suggest that she was lying. But then, what was that golden light? At this instant, their positions seemed to have been reversed. Juzi was now the composed one, while the other two were panicking over her. She shook her head and told Huo Yuhao and Tang Wutong, "I'm fine. I'm sorry for being so emotional. I just need to rest for a while." Following which, she walked over to a big tree and sat down. Everything seemed to have become normal again. Huo Yuhao and Tang Wutong turned around to look at one another. Neither of them had any idea what had just happened. However, now that they no longer were in the mood to get intimate with one another, they simply sat down and rested up. At this moment, Juzi, who seemed to have returned to her usual calm state, was actually very confused. She was still trying to understand what had just happened to her. When that beam of golden light landed on her, she felt as if her entire body had been pinned down by a mountain. She also heard an immensely authoritative and frightening voice talk to her inside her head. The person with the mysterious voice said something that doused all the feelings of injustice and frustration within her heart. His words woke her up and left her with nothing but fear. "If you don't want me to destroy you and your child, you would better keep what you want to say to yourself." Without the entire army burdening them, the Soul Engineer legions were able to move at top speed. Because the Beast Lord rank Soul Engineer legions were all capable of flight, they were able to fly for a good 2 hours with the help of milk bottles before they needed to land and rest. Hence, they were able to see Radiant City in just slightly more than a day's time. While Juzi was flying with her human-shaped soul tool, she gazed at Radiant City, which lay before her. She knew that there was no room for failure. She must succeed in what she had planned to do. If she were to fail, there would be no turning back. Of course, she had prepared for the worst. Even if she were to fail, she would not lose everything. However, she knew well enough that her loved one would definitely die if she were to fail. Even though she had already given up on him, and had understood that she had no hope of getting together with him, she was unable to give up her feelings for him. Hence, she was constantly being tormented by her feelings. However, Juzi knew that she had to focus on the task at hand. She took in a deep breath and allowed the cold air to calm her nerves and emotions. She had to succeed. She could not fail, for her son, for herself, and for him. To be honest, conquering the entire continent had never been her priority. The most important thing for her was to control her own destiny. After commanding the army for so long, she definitely knew how the Sun Moon Empire's technological advantage would not disappear in just 10 years. Hence, she was not anxious at all. However, she was very worried about her son. As her son continued to grow, it would soon be his turn to undergo the martial soul awakening ceremony. She had absolutely no idea what martial soul her son would inherit. Hence, she was really very scared for her son. She knew she could not afford to wait any longer. This was the best chance, she had to take charge of her own destiny. At this moment, Huo Yuhao was also overwhelmed a wave of emotions. He could no longer remember how many times he had been to Radiant City. In fact, he had always left Radiant City with different impressions and feelings. He was initially very impressed with how the city was set up. Now, he felt as if he could control and destroy the city if he really wanted to. This was a transformation that came about as he became stronger. At the end of the day, one could only rely on one's abilities. One could only truly become confident after becoming powerful. In addition, he now had someone he loved whom he could trust with his life. After their encounter with the two ultimate Douluo, Huo Yuhao and Tang Wutong had been training very hard, and were definitely improving faster than an average transcendent Douluo could. In fact, Huo Yuhao believed that they would be able to reach rank 98 earlier than he had previously projected. Radiant City, Shuqianran, and the Holy Ghost Church, we are finally here. This time around, we must influence affairs from within the Sun Moon Empire. This is the only way we can fight for more time for the Star Luo Empire and Douling Empire. Huo Yuhao was confident that both he and Tang Wutong would be able to become ultimate Douluo by the time the war would start again in 10 years' time. Both of them would become the first ultimate Douluo in history to possess 3 soul cores. Even though soul tools would still be immensely powerful, he believed that they would be able to influence some of the events within the continent with their superior abilities. At the end of the day, Huo Yuhao did not believe that the 3 empires' soul tool technology would be able to catch up with the Sun-Moon empires in these 10 years. However, he felt that he would have a chance at deciding the outcome of the war once he had become sufficiently powerful. A faint light flickered across Huo Yuhao's face as he flashed a smile. Shu Qianran, let's have a proper fight this time. The 3 Soul Engineer legions started to descend when they were about 25 kilometers away from Radiant City. After landing, they did not head towards Radiant City immediately. Instead, they stayed where they were and reorganized themselves. After all, it was common knowledge that flying above Radiant City was strictly forbidden. Unless they were given special permission by the Emperor, they would not be able to fly above the city. In fact, all of these returning troops had to be checked before they could enter Radiant City. Only military officers would be exempted from these checks. This was a rule everyone had to abide by. This video will end here.